Did you know that 1 out of every 5 adults suffer from a mental illness? Whether it's anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, or schizophrenia, they all come from trauma. The group of people I do life with consists of around 20 people. That means at least 5 of us are suffering from a mental illness and don't know how to overcome it. Mental illness is caused by emotional trauma to the brain, and it is considered a brain injury. The areas affected are the prefrontal cortex, the amygdala, and the hippocampus. Normally, all of these areas work together to think and act rationally. When exposed to traumatic stress over time, all these areas are impacted negatively, causing our actions and rational thinking to become compromised. Let's talk about the prefrontal cortex. It's responsible for regulating emotions that are sent from the amygdala, keeping our language and behavior controlled and our memory intact. When exposed to traumatic events, blood flow slows down in the prefrontal cortex, reducing its functions. Blood flow is then increasing to the amygdala. The amygdala is responsible for reacting to dangerous situations, also known as the fight or flight response. When this area is affected by trauma, it begins to act first, whereas the prefrontal cortex should be acting first, causing anger, fear, and anxiety. Essentially, it's hijacking our ability to be rational at all. The amygdala raises blood sugar levels and releases cortisol hormones. Last but not least, the hippocampus is responsible for long-term memory. It causes memory loss, and the ability to determine past and present events in the moment is no longer able. This is another area losing function to trauma. This brain cycle is why we experience anxiety, anger, violence, feelings of shame. But did you know that our brains can rebuild neural pathway connections? By repeated use, our brain is building new pathways. For example, if we want to learn how to do something, we have to practice. As we practice, we are forming new connections every time. As you find what your healing process is and what works for you, keep doing it. Because every time you do that, you are healing. Whether it's counseling, art, exercise, practice makes perfect. If you are in need or suffering from mental illness, get help. There's so many resources out there online and counselors. Thank you.